Live right now?
Right now.
right now. Welcome to Digital Fiasco Live for another lovely Monday night. My name's Dandr0id.
And I'm Jack McBastard.
And, yeah, this is the slideshow edition, so, yeah.
Thanks for bearing with us through this. We were supposed to have Shaw come and fuck with the cables in the neighborhood and work
so I don't know. If you want to listen to a classic-style Digital Fiasco, you could just hide the video and just listen to the audio and then, enjoy the chat at that point.
That is true, but I think we've gotten a lot more smooth with our delivery over the past year as opposed to originally when we were doing we always could rely on editing to carry us through.
Yep.
There was a fair amount of goddamn editing.
There always is, though.
Hours every Sunday. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, but it doesn't matter. If you can't stand the choppy-ass video...
Yeah, there we go. So Janus Marine's just closing his eyes and pretending it's a podcast.
That's fine.
We suggest that for everyone out there, you can do the same.
Just lay back and think of England. But the good news is that immediately after this, we can upload the captured video that we were getting locally directly to Twitch as a broadcast, and it'll just be available as a VOD like normal. You won't be able to interact with us via chat. But
obviously, you can try to interact with the video, but it's not going to work very well.
I mean, you can. I'm not going to stop you. I guarantee you that our responses will be delayed.
At best.
Yes, an indefinite amount of time. So how's it going?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Well, I guess we'll find out in a couple of days, but... Shaw says a minimum is going to take a couple days.
Yeah,
but they know that there's a problem.
But is it a quick fix? Are they?
I do not know.
Is it going to be like, oh yeah, we'll go in, fix it in like 2 hours later? Well, it's like there's no problem anymore.
Talking to Keith, and I think who else had an issue with this? I think it was Annihilate This had the same kind of issue.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of back and forth before they fixed the problem. So we've gotten already in the initial step.
They gotta dial it in.
Right. So no, but in the initial visit, right?
Yeah.
They came in and he was about ready to wrap up and go home, and I said, what about our upload? And because your download's fine, but what about our upload? Yeah, let me check your wire. I was like, that's odd. And I'm like, yeah, fucking right it is.
It seems slightly broken.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interference on the line, and he went and he checked at the tap. So it's like it is at the tap is the interference, so it's not a problem with the underground line, which would have significantly complicated the
I was just
fix.
hoping it was one of those ones where you go in and you like unscrew that thing that looks like a spark plug, and you're just like, oh, here's a new one. Done deal.
I'm kind of glad that it was that, but I mean, it's sort of the good news, bad news situation. Yay, I'm glad it's not just a stupid thing that I did, but at the same time, that would be something that would be finished in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Which is like, oh, I forgot this radio button, or oh, there's a zero missing off of this one piece here or something.
So it's kind of like a every time. So a couple of days, hopefully by the end of this week, that'll be fixed. And
I hope so, because we have shows to do.
That's true. But till then, we'll continue to record locally. We will upload them so you can see them after the fact. Actually, doing it this way, we're going to keep doing it this way anyway, just because it's going to make it easier to archive eventually to YouTube.
Yeah.
You can just grab, throw, done.
Mm-hmm.
So, in any case. So what you playing these days?
All right. I have to admit.
Powdered toast, man.
Yeah, I'm playing something on my phone right now.
Okay,
it's from a big name company though. I'm not playing like just.
If you fucking tell me you're playing Command and Conquer.
No, I'm not playing Command and Conquer
because we tore that fucking game down.
Yeah, no, I refuse to play that one.
Okay.
I try to stay away from a lot of the games that are just like, oh, you can build this thing and then it's protected online while your friends attack it, and it takes 4 days for you to build a fucking building after like the first 2 days of enjoying it.
All that stuff is crap. Yeah. I hate those.
So I stay the fuck away from those because I know it's like they get you by making it really entertaining for the first 2 days, and then it's just bullshit after that. But no, actually I'm playing Hearthstone right now.
Well, Discount will be happy.
Yeah, apparently. No, and that's the whole thing is my nephew was bugging me to play it, so I put it on my phone and I was like playing all the training missions. I was just like, whatever. Like I was just doing it to like can unlock stuff for Overwatch and everything because they interlink all their stuff.
That's how they get you.
And that's the thing is even with the Overwatch part, I had never played it before.
Yeah.
And so I got into it. I finished the training. I was like, I guess it's all right. There doesn't seem to be anything too special to it, but when you can go in and you can customize your own deck, and as I was playing it, I was like, this reminds me of, like, trying to play Magic, but this game actually fucking makes sense to me.
I mean, Magic makes sense. It's just that you have to keep up with
You
it. You
need a fucking
changes,
doctorate
right?
to play that fucking game.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, the interactions after
There-
10 fucking expansions.
Because there's
or
like
whatever.
fucking a million different cards to that thing.
Yeah.
Hearthstone is basically if I was making a dueling like Magic based game, that's basically how we do it, because everything is in very, very controlled numbers. You have limited people in the field. Everything has, 1 attack, 2 attack, or 2 life, or 3
Sure.
life. Like, just very basic, small numbers. Everything has an instant effect, and it's just done. Like, there aren't a bunch of stacking, bullshit to it and everything like that. So it's actually a lot of fun to play, because it is one of those ones you can kind of just throw down a match in, a couple minutes,
Okay.
like 10 minutes tops, and then you're done. You're on to your next thing. Unlike, again, playing all other kind of like CCG type games, it's just, oh great, go and buy all these booster packs. So I got a bunch of useless stuff, and then there's 10,000 different cards you need to learn the effects of, and you're sitting there half the time like, oh wait, what does that one do? And you're like, pick it up, and you're sitting there reading a paragraph on this fucking card just to figure out what it does.
That's
like,
why they time tournaments.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I've been playing that, and it's actually been a lot of fun.
Oh, Dan.
Oh,
Dan. Just another CCG.
you make it sound like you've never played a CCG before.
Well, that's why I know whereof I speak. It's like World of Warcraft, right? Once you have your 30-day chip, you keep going. You do not turn back. Same thing with CCGs, right? It's just a slippery slope.
The difference about playing Magic versus Hearthstone
Sure.
is, as I play Hearthstone, I get free money to spend on cards. As you
Okay.
play Magic, you don't get anything.
So you get, well, I don't play Magic either anymore, but I mean, okay, you get
but
free
no,
money.
like, yeah, when you play Magic on your phone,
Sure.
when you play Magic in real life, once you buy your booster packs, that's
Right.
it. That's, you paid money, that's it. That's what you have. And then you have to go spend more money. In the game,
Yeah.
in Hearthstone, as you play, every 3 wins, you get 10 coins. And if you play online a bunch of times, you get like chests and stuff, and then you get more money from that. So you can just unlock shit in the game from
Because if
playing
it's
it.
free, why wouldn't you?
Because that's a big difference.
Okay, but I mean, it's just a big goddamn treadmill that's trying to, like, promote the monetization of the game, and you're buying coins and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not a whale. I'm not those people that, because I've when I look at some subreddits on it and
Right.
people that have been actually playing it, and that they're like, oh, build this deck or build this deck. I'm looking at this stuff. I'm like,
Pass.
yeah, it's not worth it, because those people guaranteed. You have those people on fucking YouTube where they're just like, hey, my new video came out, and you look at the title of the video, and it's like, me opening 100 packs of Hearthstone cards or something like that. And it's like, oh, so dude just spent like $90 or $110 or something like that on Hearthstone. It's like, no, I'm not that whale. I'm not that guy that they're looking for. So I'm having fun with it now, and then as I get bored of it, it'll just go the wayside.
Maimkill Destroy says, Jack's expression during this entire session says, you disgust me and how dare you.
He
That's
just
about right.
anything that is free to play, just his eyes glaze over, and he's just like, fuck that noise.
Well, I mean, there's free to play and then there's free to play,
Yeah.
right? You know, like, oh my God. Yeah, okay.
And again, that one
If
is
you
free
like
to
it,
play.
that's fine.
You can,
That's fine.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm not winning any competitions anytime soon, and I don't expect to. I've never been good at those games.
Sure.
It's entertaining. So yeah.
do you not have like a backlog that you could play of actual games?
Not on my phone.
I guess that's fair.
that's kind of the
fair.
key factor, is that I've been playing it on my phone. So,
I do almost no phone gaming. Oh, and
Oh, nice.
thank you. That's original.
Thank
for
you
that
very much
host.
for the
Cheers,
host.
sir. How you doing? How was your stream? We were hosting you earlier. As
you
a
go.
blatant lie, one of my favorite games is Dota 2. Well, I mean, it's like stuff like that. Team Fortress. What else could I say free to play is? I guess League of Legends.
Yeah, a lot of the MOBAs
Right.
were all free to play, because that's
Yeah.
just kind of the style for them.
Because it's all like
They
just
have
cosmetic, right?
If you really like Overwatch, but you want the free to play version, you play Paladins. It's
Yeah.
basically the same thing, not as balanced. It crashes a bit more time.
God damn
but-
it! That's original's name is in black today. So
Oh wow, yeah. So
Yes.
it's just shadowy on the
Yes.
background. Yeah.
as long as there's only one of him,
He has a
We're good.
Spectre name. It's from the ether.
Yeah.
It's just pretty good.
good to see you. I know that Janus Marine was talking about you playing that drawing game that
Osu.
takes the crazy reflexes to play before.
Yeah.
I could never do that. Paragon,
Yeah.
R.I.P. Sad face. Yeah, I'm
Another free to play. But
I'm
that's the whole thing,
largely
is I think
unmoved.
that was one of the ones that mainly worked for free to play was
Not worked that well, apparently.
no, it was because of Fortnite. If Fortnite didn't exist, Paragon would still be here.
I think if
but that's the whole thing is, you know, that cash cow started exploding. They're like, well, fuck this shit.
Fortnite, Overwatch, PUBG. I mean, any of those.
Oh, but I mean specifically for that because they owned both of them. So it's like, nope, just.
Well, no. Paladins was the one that was.
Oh,
the
not
rip-off,
Paladins.
right?
I was saying Fortnite and Paragon were both owned by the same people. So
Oh, no. Did I say
Paragon.
I meant Paladins if I said Paragon.
Yeah.
I didn't. Paragon is garbage. It's gone. They don't give a shit. Here's a bunch of free assets. Come buy our other game. Fuck you.
It wasn't garbage. It's just the cash cow won out.
I mean,
you go with a game that was making some money, and you go with a game that made $300 million in April.
Granted, it wasn't like Battleborn, but still kind of garbage.
Well, you can argue with Maim Kill Destroy on that one.
I'm not really that invested. Back in the top 600 Canada for Osu. Okay, I don't know how many there are, but that's still, I guess that's impressive.
There's a lot of them.
I have no frame of reference. I'm assuming like that there are a lot more than I expect, but still.
Like tens of thousands, I
really?
believe.
Oh, there
so,
you go.
Yeah.
So top 600 is
yeah,
really
he's
good.
crazy good at that game.
Yeah. No, I've watched him, and I'm like,
I don't even understand what's happening.
yeah, I'm just going to go back and play No Man's Sky. This is breaking my brain a little, so yeah.
Okay.
But good to see you, That's Gaming.
So what have you been playing?
No longer That's Gaming. Now That's Original. What have I been playing? I'm still playing No Man's Sky. I'm still... And I don't fucking understand why. I've got other shit to play. And I've done all the trophies. Trophies are done. There is nothing left but, you know, just flying around and doing shit.
It goes to show that they've made it to the point where they want it to be. They've made a game that people can thoroughly enjoy and actually keeps you entertained beyond kind of the end game of it.
It's true. And I mean, it did before, but after a while, it was just like, I've hit a wall, and it's like I could just keep doing random tasks for the sake of them, or just amassing money and spending it on nothing. But now I've like literally with the additions they've got, I've got my brand new, basically a Star Destroyer, you know, and I posted a bunch of photos
that was
of
the pictures you posted today?
Posted a bunch of them out on Twitter last night and this morning.
Yeah.
And I call it the Erica Kane. Like, I always thought, like, going back, and this is not like was it Young and the Restless?
Oh, God.
No, Another World. One of those ones. It's one of those things, but it was like Urge Overkill. They had a song called Erica Kane.
Oh, okay.
It was all about, you know, Erica Kane. I've always thought that would be a great name for a ship. Like a big fucking ship.
But a destroyer. Though.
Right, like the Erica Kane, right? Yeah. So it all stems back to an old pen and paper RPG we did where I had like Nash Kato as the captain, and so his ship was called the Erica Kane. So anyway, the Erica Kane is like this huge Star Destroyer looking motherfucker, and you saw I had warped it in, and it's literally, you can see it on the horizon, and it's behind the mountain, so it's like, oh yes, it's big. So I got that, and I got a bunch of new ships on it.
Because I saw you had a fighter now, finally.
Right? I've got a couple of fighters. I've got a couple of really cool-looking fighters. I've got a couple of exotics, one of which is basically just a pod with thrusters.
Does it look like that ship that I like of yours, except with no wings on it?
Basically, except instead of like the side wings, it just has like two thrusters that pivot.
Oh, okay.
And you thrust forward, and that's it. And then I have another one similar to that in this new game that's just basically a squashed down version. It looks more like a fish.
Oh, okay.
It's got a big, like a swordfish nose on it, and it's blue. It's blue and gold, so it's kind of like in a Ultramarines Warhammer colors.
Can you paint those at all, or does it?
No,
you're just kind of giving it, and that's it.
I'm really hoping at some point they give you the option to not only customize your mechanics of it, but the actual exterior and the pieces you get. Like go to a shipwright and have them rebuild stuff. Or
that would be nice.
That would be nice, but we're not there yet. But you know they're still adding stuff on. They say they're still committed to.
Well, again, because we've gotten all those kind of those core features and then some. So now they can really start having fun with it, I think.
Yeah. No. So it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I still have a bunch of things to do, but it's since I've done the permadeath run, like the pressure is off now. I just, I died. I might lose a bunch of shit, but I'm not getting like brutally killed by being outside all the time, everywhere you go. So it's highly entertaining. You know, the second No Man's Sky goes on sale. Hopefully some people on the PS4 are going to jump in. I would love to play that game multiplayer, because I bet you it would like open up a whole new way to play the game.
Yeah, because you were saying that in like hardcore mode, it gives you like hardcore planets basically the whole time. So now that you're playing normal, is it nice to find a planet that's,
Yes.
I landed and nothing tried to kill me, and I can breathe the air.
Oh, yeah, it's super nice. Like, occasionally you'll get planets that are, a little bit intemperate. So it's like you watch your hazard protection go down slowly, but it's not like, you can watch it, like... immediately tick down.
It's like if I'm not in my ship, I'll die within 5 seconds.
And the revamp of the analysis visor, they give you a lot of interesting data. Like, they tell you all the shit that's in the environment. They tell you what planet you're on, what time of day it is, and they have a timer. They literally have a timer, like, to critical exposure.
Oh, okay.
So you know exactly how much time you have before you're going to die. Or at least start ticking down health instead of your protection.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of data in an unobtrusive fashion. They've really... revamp the AI in such a way that it makes a lot of sense and it's all useful. There is no unneeded information. It's very efficiently designed, and it doesn't get in the way as you're looking at things or scanning stuff or looking around the environment.
That's good. Yeah, there's nothing worse, like, because I see that in a lot of, like, online games especially. Like, you're looking around and it's pointing at all these things, and there's a bunch of word bubbles or just stuff popping up, and it just jumbles the whole fucking screen, and it's just like, what am I even looking at?
Yeah, when I played World of Warcraft with all the different menus and stuff and the mods you have to give you additional information, it was like you're looking at, like, through a porthole at the fucking screen.
You might as well be playing on your phone.
Right. So you see your character and then that much around him, basically, because of all the menus. So yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah, they really made it a clean interface. The whole game feels a lot more enjoyable now. I think this is the true, like, the Xbox One people really got the true version 1, I think. It really delivered on the initial promise. And, exactly what Sean Murray said, like, why are people are asking, like, why are you talking? It's like, oh, we're glad to talk, and now they know why, because they didn't hit all of their targets for launch, and now they're finally to that, plus all the base building, all the freighters, all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
So they've even gone beyond that. If they delivered that day one on the PlayStation, none of this controversy would have happened.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I would like people to join in with me so that I can give them a bunch of free shit.
Oh yeah, I guess you could just trade out all your stuff then.
I have a giant, like, especially the other thing, they expanded the sizes of the bases and also the bases that you can build on the freighter themselves. So you can actually customize, like, your rooms inside the freighter. So it's like a mobile base you can build.
Right.
So now that's much bigger. I have like 3 or 4 decks, and it's like I have like 3 decks of farms, and it's just various types of farmable equipment.
It's all your nub stuff or whatever.
No, that's not a thing anymore. My drug farming days are over now.
Oh, okay.
So I have no Geknep. The Gek, all these Gek, like, are going into withdrawal throughout the cosmos. Because, like, Heisenberg here...
Because the Godfather disappeared.
Folded up and chop, and that's it. So no more Geknep.
Yeah, Mame Gill says that it's like trying to watch a video on Real Player in 1999.
That's about right, yeah. So don't worry. It'll be uploaded. It'll be fine. But the live chat, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
We're saving on FPS and passing the savings on to you.
And if you don't want to see the video, again, just move your browser off to the side or something.
Yes, it'll be a podcast in real time. So... Dandr0id.
Yes.
Tell us about the disc DLC.
You mean the disc downloads and DLC?
I'm not sure that I mean that, but yes, tell us about
exactly
it.
What it is.
Is it?
Yeah. Fucking deal with it, all right?
I'm telling you, man. You have to have a referendum. You hate QuickTime. Is that even a thing anymore? I don't think it is. Is it?
I don't own a Mac, so I have no idea.
Like, does Apple still use QuickTime?
It's no clue.
Terrible format.
I have not even handled a Mac computer in probably about 10 years.
Because that was like Real Player's thing before...
Oh, Real Player was a fucking virus.
Well, yeah, basically, but I don't remember. Anyway, long story short, QuickTime sucks.
Yeah. So this week for the Triple D, there's actually a really cool game coming out. So if you have PlayStation or Steam and you want a Smash Brothers-esque game to play, you can check out Brawlout.
Brawlout, I saw that. That looks kind of neat.
So this one is made by a bunch of guys who used to compete in Smash tournaments and stuff, but they wanted to make their own Smash game so they would have access to tweaking things, adding characters, all that kind of stuff like that. So they've gone in and made their own version of Smash Brothers. Now, of course, with a much smaller roster and no real household names outside of 2 different characters, I believe. So there's one from Guacamelee and... what was the other one? Damn it, I don't remember what... You remember what... That guy right there? It's like a top-down 2D, like really retro pixel
Jesus
slasher.
Christ. I do not know. It's some kind of mouse guy.
No, it's not a mouse. He's a knight.
Night guy.
But it's like all like pinks
know.
and purples, and like it's really synthwave looking and stuff like that. But either way,
Is that like from an indie game?
yeah, it's an indie game. Yeah,
I don't know which one that is.
yeah.
It looks familiar, but I couldn't tell you.
But either way, so they're kind of like guest stars in it or whatever. But yeah, overall, it's basically like a Smash Brothers clone, smaller roster, but really well controlled too, because they only have, you know, I think about 8 or 9 characters to work with. So they're really, really well balanced, and they're constantly kind of tweaking it and listening to the fans and everything. So
I'm assuming it's designed kind of like a Mugen thing where you can just plug in characters and stuff.
Well, no, it's still its own entity or whatever. So it's not open source. You can't just make your own characters.
I mean, they can make downloads for it and just
absolutely. They will definitely be making more characters. It's just they wanted to get it out there, get it in the hands of the fans, and you know, start getting some feedback on it and stuff like that.
Sounds good.
So yeah, and then of course I'd mentioned Guacamelee, so we are actually getting Guacamelee 2 after fucking like 10 years or something like that.
I played that on the PS3, so that was at least 5 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a crazy fun 2D brawler kind of game.
Surprisingly fun, actually.
And
I like Shank better, but it was like one of those contemporaries,
Shank was really good too. And then this one, I still have yet to play it, but I hear it's fucking amazing. That's Pizza Titan Ultra.
Yes.
And this is where you're basically...
We were talking about that a couple weeks back.
Driving a mech suit, delivering pizza and smashing buildings that are in the way. And
it is instantly, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm getting like the Samurai Pizza Cats overtones, and then it turns into like half that, half Power Rangers, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like everything that I expected 100-foot robot golf to be.
Yeah.
But
that kind of like tongue-in-cheek, like, you know, giant Japanese robot warrior type thing.
But the humor in that, no offense to Giant Bomb, actual offense to, I don't give a shit, Giant Bomb, I don't like them. Anyway, that's just me, that's my opinion. But their humor fell flat. This, I looked at the trailer on Steam, I've been watching it on PS4, it looks awesome. I was actually talking with Daniel about it last week, I showed him the trailer, he's like, this is awesome. So,
he had never heard of it?
Yeah. I think I posted it a couple times on Twitter, so yeah, we're all anticipating that one.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Pizza Titan Ultra.
And then one that's, I think, finally getting its full release is Slime Rancher, because this one's actually been around for, I think, about 1.5 years or almost 2 years now, but I think
on
it's...
Steam, I think it's like the V1 release for PS4.
So that kind of thing. So basically that one is kind of like, if you like your crafting games, like a Minecraft-esque or Subnautica, like those kind of things, Slime Rancher is just a really fun, colorful, cutesy kind of version of one of those games.
Is it like kind of like a Monster Rancher sort of game, right?
A little bit. So what you do is you go out into the wilds, you have this like vacuum gun, and you can suck up all these like little slimes, and they're all different colors and different elements and materials and stuff like that, and you bring them back, and you can raise them in these like little... like kind of like little shielded pens and everything like that, because you have to keep some of them apart because some will attack each other, and then other ones will actually blend together. It's how they kind of like, you know, reproduce or whatever,
right?
But then you get like weird different mixed materials, and you use those to build all the stuff on your ranch and everything. So
it's like half Monster Rancher, half Harvest Moon.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So, but yeah, just very friendly, colorful game. There's not a lot of combat in it, but there is some, because there are some violent slimes, and then there's just some just evil things out in the environment and stuff like that. So
I've heard nothing but good things about that for the longest time. And it's been in my friggin' Steam list forever, and I've just never started it up.
Yeah,
but
and
I can see that being one that I lose a lot of time.
It's one I've just seen on some Let's Plays and stuff, and it's an absolute pleasure to watch. So yeah, definitely check that one out.
Good.
And you have anything on your list there?
Well, I mean, the big one. Well, I won't say big, but for some people, it's very big. Shenmue 1 and 2.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So Shenmue 1 and 2 for PS4, for Xbox One, I think for PC as well, all released tomorrow. I am of mixed mind on this, because like it's going to be...
Would that be some like, why would you play that fodder kind
of? I don't think... Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Like, I could see that for some people would be the case, but it's just going to be very hard for me even to play Shenmue 3 after years of Yakuza.
Yeah.
Like, and especially now that they're in like the next generation Yakuza, like blowing Shenmue out of the water, out of this initial concept of game. Right. So I have my concerns that my nostalgia goggles, even with the HD upgrade,
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it on and it's just going to be like jagged glass under my eyelids.
Oh, it's a remaster. I'm sure it'll be fine.
And so help me fucking God, if I have to drive a goddamn forklift, I may go nuts.
You know you have to drive a forklift.
And it was terrible.
It
So
was,
I
it was only a small portion of the game, though.
Oh, but it felt so long. And I mean, for that matter, how small a portion of the game is largely relative to how well you do that sequence.
I guess that's true.
Oh, yeah. I got a couple things else. August 24th, Phantom Doctrine comes out for Xbox One.
Tron's trying to stir the pot there.
Is Shenmue better than Yakuza? Absolutely not. No, in no way. In no way is it better.
I'd like to say it has the numbers, but it really doesn't, because Yakuza
So
has 6 now.
I
guess technically 7 because it has 0.
And 8 if you count Dead Souls.
Which we don't.
Which we absolutely don't. But I mean, that's 8. 8 Yakuza games. Plus 2 more that we never even got.
But did Yakuza have forklifts?
Wait. 6 plus 0 makes 7.
Yeah.
Plus Dead Souls is 8. And then the 2 that we never got is 10.
Yeah.
So on top of that, yeah. So yeah, like.
But Yakuza didn't have forklifts, so.
It did not.
That's a major strike against it.
It did have a chicken that would sell you real estate.
Oh, that's right. It did. That's really hard to argue with.
I mean, there are way weirder things in Yakuza, but that's the easiest one to sum up in a very tiny capsule. Phantom Doctrine comes out for Xbox One. That came out last week for PS4. It came out last week for Steam.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Cold War tactical game from the makers of Hard West.
The one that you're all over.
I mean, I've not started it yet. It was a little too expensive to just drop cash on it already. I might just buy it on Steam when it comes down in price. But it's got a solid sort of 75 ranking on Metacritic.
Yeah.
It's right in the same neighborhood as Hard West. If I like
so
that.
I'm sure that they did it justice.
Yeah,
so.
but it's not XCOM, so people have to give it XCOM numbers.
And Tron, I think there's
Fuck your Mario Party.
There's 14 or 15 of them now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I wouldn't even, I would have to look
those
at the
are
numbers.
core titles, because they also had DS games, they had 3DS games,
right.
And I think some like couple spin-off things too, or something like that. So
they had them for the 64, the Wii, the Wii U, and now Switch. Switch, did they have a Switch one yet?
Or no, that's the new one that's coming out.
It's coming out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we're talking like since 1996 we've been getting Mario Party games. So.
Yeah. But I'm gonna just stand fast on fuck your Mario Party. That's that judgment has been spoken. So Phantom Doctrine, check that out if you're an Xbox One owner and you like tactical games, because those are awesome. In the opposite side of the awesome scale, Night Trap for Nintendo Switch.
Yep, it's still doing the rounds apparently. I love that it's on the Nintendo Switch, because we've all seen the video that it's compared with. I think they used it as their own marketing tool. They said, you will never see Night Trap on a Nintendo system, and they use that in the trailer to say that it will be on Nintendo Switch. Once
again, I'm going to just go back to the old statement that I made years ago. Dana Plato, star of Night Trap and Different Strokes, has done porn. And Night Trap is the thing she's ashamed of. So
maybe she's a really good porn actress.
I mean, that's possible. I've never seen Dana Plato in porn. I mean, I could do that and just look it up for, research's sake.
Well, Tron has a point.
Number of sequels doesn't equate to a good game series. Seems Shenmue is superior. Right. I think if we looked at the sales of the worst, I bet you Dead Souls sold as much as Shenmue 1 and 2 put together. And that was a terrible
I don't know
Yakuza
if it would be
game.
that high, but
I bet you.
It would definitely stomp a lot of them.
I mean, first and foremost, it was available on Dreamcast. So right away, your install base is pretty shitty.
And the original Xbox.
Well, the Shenmue 2 was on Xbox. I don't think the first Shenmue was ever available on Xbox.
I'm pretty sure they both were, because that's where I experienced them.
I think, I can't say that for sure, but we'll go back and we'll check. In any case, we got a couple of anti-releases.
Okay.
So we were talking about the Spyro Reignited trilogy.
Yes.
How they have the weird downloads. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to worry about it yet because they've been pushed back.
Oh, okay.
It's been delayed from September 21st to November 13th. So I bet they're super glad they rushed those masters to market so that you have to download 2/3 of it. Because now they're not even going to bring it out.
Just to hold them back anyway.
Right. So
now, do you think that has something to do with maybe they're going in and redoing the discs or anything like that?
I don't think so. They announced this last week. And it was supposed to be out, actually September 21st. So that's a month off. Yeah. So I mean, they may not have even gone to master yet for if they were going to delay this. This came out August the 15th, so it's possible they may not have even gone to manufacture yet, or at least limited manufacture. I don't know. It's possible. I think it's a little late in the game to make substantive changes to your manufacturing plans. Because you'd have to reprint all your printed material inside the slip, as well as possibly
you just
strike another gold master.
Pull the thing and take the disc out. And
you're talking about millions of copies of a game, right?
Talking about millions of angry fans that are like, why didn't you put the other 2 games on the disc? You fucking bastards.
Yeah, I think we're already assuming that millions of people are going to go buy Spyro, and I'm not convinced that's going to be the case. By the way, Bloodstain for the Vita.
Yeah.
You looking forward to that?
Sure.
Yeah, you shouldn't, because that's not.
Anytime it's Vita news, it's just like
it makes me so sad. Because
again, we've talked about it. The Vita was a great system.
Yep.
We just didn't have the developers buy in, which didn't help a lot. And now it's just it's such an I'm surprised that people still use it outside of what they hack it to do.
I absolutely would use it more if they continue. Like right now, what's keeping it alive on life support and what has been keeping it alive the last 2 or 3 years has just been the steady stream of indie games that you can play on the go.
It must be that because outside of that, you never see Sony pushing stuff. Hey, coming out in the Vita, or whatever. Like it's just. Yeah, it just doesn't happen.
But now that the Switch is out and has been out for the last year and a couple of months, they're starting to eat Vita's lunch. So they can't rely on that anymore, and basically they're just.
They should just. I think they should just put it to bed. There's
take it out
for the little bit of money that they're spending on keeping it alive. I think they should just let it go the wayside.
Well, it's huge in Japan, not so much in North America and anywhere else in the world. So it's kind of a judgment call at this point. All right, let's get to the news. Jay Tuki says Pokemon, Final Fantasy. He said Legend of Zelda.
Just talking about games with different large numbers of
Jesus. Well, Final Fantasy has stupid amounts. Pokemon, I don't think it has probably at least that many.
Absolutely,
varieties and reissues.
Yeah, we're talking at least 25 games.
And Legend of Zelda is
in the core series because they have all the offshoots too, like Pokemon Snap and Battle Arena and all the other stuff like that.
But I would absolutely not equate in any way the quality of Shenmue to any of those.
Yeah.
I bet you Final Fantasy 13 sold more than Shenmue 1 and 2 put together, by orders of magnitude.
It's a Final Fantasy game, so of course it did, even if it did suck.
Terrible. All right, so going back to Yakuza. Fun fact, the most recent issue of Edge magazine, the series creator Toshihiro Nagoshi actually revealed that bringing Yakuza to the PS2 wasn't an easy sell at all. So apparently he pitched the idea to his bosses at Sega, and they weren't really that interested. They weren't that keen. I don't know if it was just because they're glorifying crime bosses within Japan or what, but they didn't want to have anything to do with it. So what he did, he actually went over his boss's heads and went to Sammy Corporation, who at that point had just bought Sega.
Okay.
And he pitched the idea to them, and they bought in. So he came back and is like, hey, we're making this game. And Sega's like, great.
Yeah.
So he didn't.
I thought you maybe went over his head and he threatened them or something.
No. He went to their bosses.
Real nice company you got here.
Yeah, shame if something would have happened to it. How's that Sonic game going for you? Oh, did I knock something over? Now it sucks. So yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen Toshihiro Nagoshi, but he looks like he's like the Japanese Dirk Benedict.
Okay.
He looks like a saddlebag.
Okay.
He is like a dark like weathered leather brown.
I thought you were going to say he looked Yakuza-ish. And
he very much does.
He just walked into Sega and ripped his shirt off, and he's just like, you'll make this game.
If he has not had ties to them, I know that there are a lot of Yakuza bosses who really like that series because of the kind of the way it romanticizes the White Knight of Kiryu.
Of course.
So if he didn't have ties before, I'm absolutely certain he does over the years. I mean, especially through like Takeshi Kitano, who himself through his movies about the Yakuza has those ties as well. So, one way or another, I'm sure he does. So anyway, so he says, many years after the fact, he says, it's highly irregular and quite wrong that he did that. But if not for that move, we would not have Yakuza today.
Of course, yeah.
So that was way back, I think, in 2003, I think was Yakuza, the original Yakuza for PS2. So this is something that he's revealed for the very first time in this interview for Edge magazine. He says, I've never said this before, but while we released the game with Sony, I'd done presentations about it to Microsoft and Nintendo. Back when they said, no, we don't want it, now they say, we want it.
Give it to us.
Yeah, they didn't understand the reason why I created it. So yeah, like many, many years ago, he pitched to them too, and they, nope.
And it's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, like you would look at something like that, and you're like, well, is this even kind of kosher to do this? Like, should we make a game that glorifies, crime outside of, like a typical like Grand Theft Auto or something where it's just kind of randomized? Like, this is a, well-known kind of force in Japan and whatnot.
Right.
So it's like, should we glorify this? Should we make a game about it?
Yeah,
so
and
it's understandable that they, especially Nintendo, wouldn't want to do it.
No, Nintendo, I could see them going, oh,
yeah,
goodbye.
And then Microsoft was probably kind of two mindsets of A, it's should we do this, and B, it's like, does North America really know what the Yakuza is? Would they care to play a game about it?
Yeah, well, it's two parts, right? Like the Xbox, the original Xbox especially, had like zero profile in Japan.
Yeah.
So to actually release this game in Japan, they didn't think it was worthwhile. Mm-hmm. And for that matter, Sega themselves didn't bring it over to North America immediately either, right? Because it's a lot of localization. And in the first Yakuza game, they actually did full voiceover. Mark Hamill plays Majima, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
And does a great job, but, very weird. So, and right at the end of the PS2's life cycle, they had Yakuza 2, they had Yakuza 1, they had Yakuza 2, and it was like, I think they had something like 50,000 copies in North America or something, like stupidly small. It was probably more than that. I'm probably thinking Panzer Dragoon Saga, but it's like a very small physical distribution of that game. Because it was like right at the end. I think it was the last one. It was a God of War 2 and Yakuza 2, I think, were the last ones made. So, I mean, I could see Microsoft saying, no, like, why bother?
Yeah.
But once they got to the Xbox 360 and they're trying to make a bigger splash in Japan, probably at that point, they're trying to go to Sega and sorry.
Yep.
Probably Sony published it. They have some kind of deal, and you've seen Yakuza just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, especially on the PS4 now. So I love that goddamn series.
I know
loved
you
it
do.
since the beginning. So he says, I abandoned the idea of selling worldwide. Next, I decided I wouldn't mind if female players didn't like the game, then that no children were allowed. When I decided all that, the only target left was the Japanese male. And I don't know if you've seen a Yakuza game. It is very much.
Yeah.
Like, that is the demographic. The Venn diagram does not overlap with females or, children very much at all. So, I mean, the porn stars and the soap clubs and everything else.
Well, again, you're dealing with a Yakuza game. It's
Right.
It's not going to be the Yakuza don't gear their shit towards children.
No, no. Despite my many, many hours of UFO capture. Yeah. But I mean, also the game is so steeped in Japanese culture. I could see why. Like between Yakuza 3 almost never made it to PS3, and then. Because there was like a huge gap. And then after Yakuza 3, there was like 2 or 3 years before 4 came out, and it came out, it was like the last one, and then 5 was digital only.
Yeah.
And then it was right there, they had their renaissance with the whole building the list thing, and they came back. So now I'm glad that they're finally getting some steam and getting some brand new fans. They're going to now play them on PS4 remastered for the first time. I'm super excited.
I'm hoping that they just kind of bring out like a big box set.
That would be great, especially if it comes out with like the bumper stickers and the shot glasses and the card wallet and everything. I cannot wait.
I just want the bumper sticker of the chicken, the real estate chicken.
So what is this? I'm reminded of The Office in Japan, heart surgeon number 1. Yeah, him and the chicken, you know. Did you just assume my demographic, says Jason? Oh, here's where the fists fly.
Yep.
Yeah. She's ambiguously Asian.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. All right. So speaking of Switch and portability, Blizzard has officially announced what we suspected, that Diablo 3 is going to be coming to Switch this year.
Right.
So it's going to be the Diablo 3 Eternal Collection on Switch. I think they had a big presentation about it today during Gamescom, because that's, well, technically it starts tomorrow, but they're starting the press conferences now. Diablo 3 Eternal Collection, on Switch will include the original game, Reaper of Souls expansion, Rise of the Necromancer expansion, and all updates that have been released to date. So it's got the whole goddamn thing.
And that's a hell of a lot of content for one game.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, the original game enough was like a huge game, and then all the expansions with the new class and everything. It's also going to apparently include a Ganon-styled armor for Legend of Zelda. So
oh yeah,
I don't know how you get that, if it's just going to be unlocked from the beginning or something special you have to do.
They do like to add those things in there.
Oh yeah.
Although I'm kind of surprised that they should have like a Link style outfit too for one of them.
You never know, right? Once the gates are open, I'm sure. But apparently everything is going to be unlocked from the start. So you'll have the campaign, the adventure mode, all the 7 classes, and themed seasons. So you'll have right from the beginning, you can jump into any of the content. And kind of the nifty thing about it is the way they're handling the multiplayer. So not only can you do 4-player online, you can do 4-player local co-op on the same machine.
Makes perfect sense.
Or you can do 4-player multiplayer with the ad hoc Wi-Fi. So like they showed for the Mario Kart.
Right, yeah.
So like all with your own system, you're just playing on your own screen, but you're all in the same game in the room. So
yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And apparently you can like mix and match.
It's nice to see that finally coming out too,
Right.
just because we've seen so few games actually take advantage of that type of multiplayer.
Right.
Because the Switch is more than capable to do that. I wish more devs would start kind of taking them up on that, because again, you know, being older gamers and stuff like that, I love couch co-op stuff.
Yeah.
Or at least if, you know, we both had Switch, we should both show up at the same place. It's like, just let us link up and play that in the same place instead of just everything being kind of, you know, by yourself online, like, you know, just sitting there like, oh, I guess I'll hook up my cell phone with my headset and my all that other bullshit to talk to people.
I mean, there is a big resurgence these days of couch co-op. I don't know if it's just a knee-jerk against all of the online stuff, or just people actually find that they do enjoy that. But you see games like Overcooked and Overcooked 2.
Well, I think it's a lot of it comes down to the fact that you know, guys like us that enjoyed games way back in the day, a lot of them are making their own indie games now, and they remember how much fun that was. So that's almost like a top checkbox that they have to knock off on their game.
Couch co-op,
which I'm so glad for, because it's fucking awesome. I love couch co-op games.
Yeah, I enjoy co-op games, especially ones that are competitive co-op games where you can hear the recriminations. In the room.
Of course, because it's right there. It's right in your ears. Oh, you fucking do that,
motherfucker! Bam, bam, bam. You know, and wail on the guy. So there's no date for Diablo 3 yet, but it's going to be later this year. So you won't have long to wait regardless. So probably by third quarter.
A quick thing on Blizzard and Nintendo is there was some rumors saying that they might get Overwatch also, which I think
cannot see that.
Which I think is just, it's really interesting that they would. They said that it's rumored because they say that it's definitely possible to put it on the system.
Yeah.
They just don't know if they want to. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think that would be really interesting, just because you have like this mobile Overwatch kind of situation going on.
Isn't Fortnite on the Switch now, right?
Yes.
So like, I can't see it being that big of a stretch for Overwatch if they're technically able to pull it off.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's one of those things that, you know, you don't want to degrade your own product too much because I mean, you look at something like, you look at Doom on like, well, not even a PC, like you on an Xbox or a PlayStation or whatever, and compare it to the Switch version. They both run at 60 frames a second, but there's a definite graphical downgrade when you play it on the Switch.
Yeah,
so,
but they still pull off some pretty amazing technical wizardry for a fucking Switch.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like, you know, it's one thing you're like, oh yeah, we could do it, we could put it on there, but it's like, it's your choice if you want to degrade your game slightly to put it on a console, because they may have in their legalities contracts somewhere saying, oh, you have to have the best version of your game on whatever system you put it on, or some shit like that.
So apparently Jay Tanuki just noticed the powdered toast man.
Oh yes,
Cling tenaciously to my buttocks. Frank Zappa as the Pope.
So good.
Yep, Powdered Toast Man, classic Ren and Stimpy. And Tron says, a return to couch co-op is a direct backlash to online trolling. Hard to troll the person sitting beside you with no repercussions. Obviously, Tron has never seen us play couch co-op games.
I was going to say, you could troll the fuck out of each other, but yeah, you're going to get a punch in the leg after.
Very much so. I mean, it's a different quality of trolling, right?
Yeah.
There's some good-natured ribbing. There's some hurt feelings, but there's airing of grievances and feats of strength.
Right.
It's not like you're out there calling people like the N-word.
Yeah.
Or
we're saying you slept with your mother and
Right.
you're some 12-year-old squealy person yelling at you or whatever.
That's the worst. Get some 12-year-old kid just screaming into the phone, or someone playing music in the background like a Tool.
All I know is I can't wait for Overcooked 2 when it comes out next year.
I have it right now. What are you talking about next year?
Overcooked 2?
It is out.
Oh, I thought it came out in like March next year or something like that.
It came out like 3 weeks ago.
Well, that sounds like something that we need to play on a 12-hour stream when that happens.
Yes, you get a good why would you play that section. Not why would you play that. Doing stuff is fun.
Why would I play that? Because it's fucking awesome. That's why.
It is. So, all right. So, in other nerd news, this is kind of a weird departure.
Janus Marine had something specific for you there.
Reference only Jack will get, but I was just checking to see if my cheats worked. Yeah, that's one of the trolling things. We used to play like LAN gaming in the room.
Okay, yeah.
And StarCraft or what have you. And one of our friends was he activated a trainer just to see if it worked.
Oh, yes.
And we caught him doing it. I was just checking to see if it worked. So I don't know how long he'd been screwing us over, but we were upset. There were some words had.
Of course.
Yeah. So along those lines, other nerd news, Legendary Entertainment and Frank Herbert's estate have actually reached a multi-year licensing deal with Gale Force 9, the board game manufacturer, to make Dune board games. A series of tabletop games that actually will bridge the entire scope of the Dune franchise. So this is not only the original books, it's going to be all the Kevin goddamn J. Anderson, Frank Herbert, or what's his kid's name? I don't even know. Kevin J. Anderson or whatever. Yeah, August 2nd. So
Kevin B. Anderson.
August 7th, I guess. Excuse me. That's
okay.
That's
well, there you go.
JQ's
That's
correction.
awesome. It's even better.
Yeah, I don't remember what Frank Herbert's kid's name that actually controls the rights to the series now.
Herbert Jr.
No, it's something else. But anyway, so Kevin J. Anderson, whatever. It's got all of those. And in addition, the first initial Dune game is going to come out of the partnership. It's going to be a tabletop RPG. It's going to be sometime in late next year. It's actually in collaboration with Mephidius, the guys who are doing the Star Trek Adventures one.
Okay.
They actually have that huge board cube collection set that I really wanted to get, but is basically like $1,000.
I'm not surprised.
It's like the complete set is all the figures from all the sets, and it's like in a board cube with all the books and everything. It has drawers, and I'm like, oh, this is pings every nerd instinct I have. I look at the price. It's like I have to ship it from Europe, and it's $1,000, and I'm like,
yeah, I'll stick to my free game, thanks.
yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, when was the last time I played a pen and paper RPG? And it's like, oh, yes, I died a little inside because they're limited edition too. So it's like that's how they get you. Anyway, so these guys are also doing the pen and paper RPG, and Gale Force 9 is going to be doing board games based on it. So it's apparently the first of many tabletop games they're looking to produce over the next several years. I don't know if you knew this. They're actually remaking the movie. Dennis Villeneuve is going to be directing it. It's going to be out in 2020. So they're starting to ramp up the marketing with this.
I'm very excited for that because he did great work on Blade Runner 2049. So I want to see what he does with the Dune series because I'm not a fan of the previous like iterations.
Did you watch the sci-fi like the miniseries?
Yeah. Like I had borrowed it from you a while back, and
yeah, okay.
It was like the 6 episodes or whatever.
With William Hurt in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's okay. It's definitely better than the fucking 80s one.
Yeah.
Who did that one?
God damn it, Twin Peaks Eraserhead.
James Cameron.
No. God damn it, Albel. Fuck, why am I blanking? Twin Peaks Eraserhead, Lost Highway.
Yeah.
Blue Velvet.
That guy. Anyways, his version of the movie was not very good. So I'm looking forward to a new one. Do you want me to look it up?
Nope.
Are you going to explode?
Oh, it's driving me insane.
I'll do this so you don't hurt anymore.
Fuck.
Hang on.
Give me his initials. I don't want to know.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, DL.
David Lynch.
There you go.
Why the fuck? Oh, I blanked on that. Christ, I don't know why.
And Roz Ninevold helped you out at the end.
Roz Ninevold, thank you. But no, I knew what it was, but it's like I could not place it. I knew all of his movies. I could picture him exactly. Drives me insane.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's going to be late next year is going to be the first one. Gale Force 9 was the guys who did the Firefly board game.
Oh, okay.
So I had my issues with the rules, but the piece quality was kind of cool.
Like it was a well-built game. Yeah, it just didn't play as well as we wanted it to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was I guess we'll see what they do with that.
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as enjoyable as Zaya was. So we'll see with Dune how they do it. So that's unfortunately the only game of theirs that I'm actually familiar with. So obviously they trusted them enough, or they were the lowest bidder.
I just find it interesting that Dune, they must have a very small but very dedicated fan base or something like that, because I always see
super popular.
I always see
forever.
these things like RPGs, board games, indie like video game ideas, and so all this stuff keeps popping up, and I think you are the only person I know that's like, fuck yes, Dune. Like,
I don't even know if I am fuck yes, Dune, but like, not so much the original movie, and the miniseries was good, but it wasn't great. It was the spin-offs, all of Westwood's real-time strategy games that I really enjoyed.
They really sold you on that.
Yeah, it's like Dune 2 was literally the very first real-time strategy game by Westwood Games that then was purchased by EA, who killed it.
Go figure.
Yeah, and of course they went on
It's
to
their
make,
MO.
right, they went on to make Command and Conquer. Eventually they actually came back and did Emperor of Dune, which was kind of a almost like the map of Arrakis, and you had like a kind of you could choose your path across the terrain. It was full 3D. It was a bunch of stuff.
I think Mamekill knows what you're talking about there. Arrakis Dune Desert
Game. Yeah, he knows the thing. I'm sure he could recite the prayer too about "I shall not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the total. Was it the little death that brings total oblivion?" In any
it's like,
case,
I don't know. Every time I see it, oh, there you go.
For Body ABS. Jack McBastard is also a killing word.
Every time I see Dune stuff, it reminds me of it. It feels like a adult contemporary version of Star Wars.
Well, I mean, I believe Dune was published in the 50s, so technically speaking, like the movie definitely traded on a lot of that sort of visual language.
Yeah.
But the actual book is so fucking dense.
Maybe that's why it's a little more mild on its like war themes and everything like that. It's more about politics and trading and all this kind of stuff.
It is very much about politics, less about trading, but revolution, like violent revolution and like guerrilla warfare. If you read the original book, the best equivalent I could compare it to would be, it is basically somewhere between The Expanse and The Hobbit, like Tolkien's works.
Oh, okay.
Like J.R.R. Tolkien's works, like the density where you have to like keep flipping back and forth the fucking glossary.
Does it have like footnotes or whatever on every page about like what the fuck they're talking about?
Yes. Dune. It took me, I think, 7 or 8 tries to actually get through that book, because it literally has like pages and pages of glossary in the back.
Mamekill is a fuck yes, Dune.
Yes. I mean, it's a great book. As the series went on, though, I think they're diminishing returns in the series. Like, past, I think, the second book, I largely went, wow, this is going off the rails, and it's just getting worse and worse. And then Kevin J. Anderson got in the mix. I can't imagine what fucking train wreck that is. But the base book is actually such a seminal work of fiction. You stack it right up there with things like, Fahrenheit 451 and I, Robot for Isaac Asimov and the Foundation trilogy and things like that. So it's definitely a well-respected piece of fiction going back many, many years. All right, so enough of the book corner. Sekiro. So people are worried about Activision trying to, dumb down Sekiro a little.
Well, what are they trying to do to it?
Well, From Software's history, right?
Yeah.
I cannot think of the last game that From Software made that had an easy learning curve. Yeah, like Armored Core, and that is still like pretty goddamn steep.
Yeah, because I mean, even then, it's not that the gameplay's difficult. It's that the rest of the game is difficult.
Right.
Building your robots and making sure they're balanced, and dealing with all your credits and your missions and all that shit.
Yep. So people are concerned. They're expressing this concern, and Activision definitely wanted to set the story straight. So From Software CEO and Sekiro director Hidetaka Miyazaki, he has tried to set some of those fears to rest. So he gave an interview with Edge that just came out. It's probably the same magazine. Miyazaki said From Software won't compromise on their vision for Sekiro to appeal to any particular type of player, while also speaking a bit to exactly how the idea for the game came to the developers. He said, we're not consciously trying to make a game that's oriented towards a certain subset of users. We're making games for people that love games, which is pretty much what he's been doing all along.
Yeah, absolutely.
And doesn't fucking care how hard it is. Walk it off.
Deal with it.
Exactly. But what's interesting is, like, if you remember way back during the E3 conference, we saw it and we're trying to figure out what the fuck Sekiro was.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I saw From Software and I looked at it and I'm like, fuck, that's Tenchu. Mm-hmm. Apparently I wasn't far off the mark. So what Miyazaki said, when we first started discussing what this project would be, we decided we wanted to make a game with a Japanese setting. From that stemmed the discussion of Ninja. This, of course, spurred discussion of Tenchu, which is a title from both From Software and Activision have a history with. From these ideas, Tenchu, Japan, and Ninja come these light stealth mechanics. They were just naturally weave themselves into the design. So a lot of people don't remember that. The fact that kind of dredged itself up from the back of my mind apparently was intentional. So they were trying to evoke that style.
With that crazy brutal ninja action with some stealth elements, it naturally lends itself to that, because Tenchu was
it was hard.
Was one of the first ones to really give you that kind of stealth action with like brutal bloody combos and everything like that.
Oh, and especially like the grappling hook, that is unseen. I'd never seen anything like that even in a PC game before. So
the only time you even had anything close to that was back in like the 2D platformer era, and you didn't really have stealth at that point.
Bionic Commando, I guess. But yeah, nothing like that. So I'm glad that is actually legitimately part of their DNA, and they're actually going back to that design, because I really miss Tenchu.
It definitely looks like Tenchu to the nth degree.
Yeah, very much so.
Because it looks batshit insane now, and didn't he have like a gun hiding in his wrist or something?
Oh, probably.
And like all kinds of crazy shit like
they
that.
had gunpowder back then, if you dealt with the Spanish.
No, but what I'm saying is the Tenchu didn't have guns in it, so
no. But it was that one scene where he like climbed up on the thing and he like straight up assassinated the guy. Mm-hmm. It took me back to the very first level of Tenchu, when you realize you have this grappling hook, you're going like rooftop to rooftop and crap.
And your draw distance was 20 feet.
Oh, it was on the PS1, man. But I mean, bear in mind, right? I was comparing it to like launch games. I think Gun Griffin VF1 and Battle Arena to Shinden. So it was, a whole other thing.
Absolutely. No, I believe me, I played the shit out of it. It was an excellent game.
This 20 frames per second is so smooth. Getting motion sick from 15 FPS. So yeah, but I can't wait to see it. I think that we're now going to have a glut of these Japanese games with freaking Ghost of Tsushima also coming out sometime eventually.
I am all for this.
Yes.
I love the setting. I love the characters. I love just that type of gameplay and everything. So bring it on, because that's the whole thing. That was my same concept with Star Wars. It's just like, if you want good games in that, don't lock it off to one fucking developer that has a specific idea or X amount of money to put into it, and that's it, because that's all you're going to get. If you take an idea and you throw it out to all of the developers, you're going to get a couple good games out of it then.
I just wish that Ubisoft would lean into it and finally give us our Ninja Assassin's Creed game.
That would be really nice.
They will never do it
maybe
in the same time frame.
Maybe it'll kind of realign them on it. Be like, oh, people really do dig this kind of genre or this idea. So
it's all coming back to the 80s when ninjas were huge and then they went away for ages. So maybe zombies
well,
will
that's
go
because
away.
they made a bunch of shitty American ninja movies, and they were
so terrible.
It was just like some ripped blonde dude in a like white ninja costume. He's like, I have a katana. I am from Japan. Like, it was fucking atrocious.
But how will I explain Tenchu to my 13-year-old daughter, Patrick Soderlund? Really? I understand why I think it's awesome. There's a developer that says "fuck that," says main kill destroy. That's true, but I mean that's From Software in a nutshell. It's like, here's the difficulty setting. We're gonna set the game. You can't deal with it. Fucking play Zelda.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, is that's why they've come up with such great games over time, is that they really do it their own way, and they don't care what anyone else thinks.
Literally, like, also one of the very, very first games on the PS1, Kingsfield, was a huge favorite of mine, and that was before I knew who From Software was. Just, I then learned about Armored Core as the people who made Kingsfield.
My first experience with Armored Core was 2 PlayStations with a link cable, and I was sold. I was just like, this is the future of gaming right here.
It is. We played that game, I like that and Project Phantasma with the link cable for so many hours. Oh my god. All right, moving on. So kind of in the same vein as Tenchu, talking about Dishonored. With the recent release of Prey Mooncrash, which is the roguelike DLC for Prey, a lot of people were expecting Arcane Studios to just go back to the well and make their next Dishonored game. But apparently they are making noises like Dishonored is going to be on the shelf for a while. Yeah. So they're done, or it's going to be a few games.
I could easily see them letting that kind of cool off a little, because they had two solid core games. Yeah. Some
technically
extra
3, because the
I guess the other one that was like a DLC. It was really much. Yeah. It was pretty much a game onto itself.
Death of the Outsider was its own game, and it had a bunch of new assets. It was kind of a standalone DLC with additional development, but. Yeah, it was good enough on its own to be a full game.
Yeah, so I could see them letting that cool off, and they probably have a few other ideas cooking on the back burner anyways, where they're like, you're never getting it.
Oh my god, that would be amazing if they went back and they did like Prey 2, but they called it something else.
They fucking do it. I don't care. They don't have to call it Prey. That's like the least of our worries.
As long as it still has a Johnny Cash theme song. God damn it. So anyway, Arcane lead designer Ricardo Barra says he can't definitively say what might happen down the road. Anything could happen, but Dishonored is resting for now. As far as pure immersive sims go, I don't know if we're going to continue to make like Carbon Copy. This qualifies as an immersive sim, and it's the only thing we're ever going to make. The things that are important to us as a studio are coherent, deep world building and environmental storytelling. We're always going to craft spaces that you feel like you're visiting, whether it's Dunwall or Talos 1. It's just as important a character as the player or the people you meet. Then it's improvisational gameplay, giving players a bunch of cool abilities and tools, then saying, you figure it out, you be creative, you own the experience. And typically we stick to first person, though that's not a hard rule, and we might try other things from time to time. So basically they are possibly putting the nail in the coffin of Dishonored for a while.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, as long as they're going to go on to awesome things. They make good games, so it's not that you have to really worry on that camp.
Right.
And again, if you can get like 3 solid games out of a developer and you enjoyed all of them, you really can't ask for much more than that, because typically, think about other games that have more than like 3 or 4 in the series,
right,
outside of something that really has a continuing storyline. Like Yakuza obviously works because it's kind of a group effort at that point, but
Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, like a lot of those games, that typically works better for them, that they put it on the shelf, and maybe they'll 5 or 6 years down the road they'll be like, hey, here's Dishonored 3 or something like that, because then you have more hype for it. You're excited it's coming back, rather than just releasing them every 2 or 3 years, and it's just like
I'm wondering if in the back of my head they've already got a team working on it, but they're working on it for PS5.
It's possible,
or next generation consoles. Which is why they're not going to see it for a while.
Yeah.
So it's not.
And it just gives them more time to work on a third-person Prey 2, not Prey 2 game.
All over it, man. All right, so speaking of Dishonored, last week we talked about former IGN editor Philip Muchin.
Oh, God.
And his alleged plagiarizing of Dead Cells
I think
review.
It's beyond alleged now.
It's I think the jury is in.
Dude got fired for a reason.
Yeah, so IGN is no longer hedging its bets, saying, we don't want to happen, blah, blah, blah. They are apparently throwing everything the guy's ever done overboard. Writing on Twitter, IGN reviews editor Dan Stapleton wrote, "We've seen enough now, both from the thread and our own searches, that we're taking down pretty much everything he ever did." So he's literally like salting the earth behind this guy. After he went on YouTube and he said, "Oh, Kotaku, keep looking, see if you find anything else."
Yeah.
problem is, unlike, Trump, people came back, hit him instantly. They don't have to build a case. They just fucking whack the guy. Here's what they found. Apparently, they've found now, this is going to include a Bayonetta 2 review that drew from Polygon, a video that took word for word from a NeoGAF post.
Oh, my God.
A number of videos where Muchin reads excerpts from Wikipedia about topics like Super Mario Odyssey and Shantae Half Genie Hero as if he had written them. It even lists an Octopath Traveler article that was copied from one of his colleagues' reviews on IGN.
Wow.
He plagiarized his own network. I'm past the point of, wow, you're a scumbag, and I'm like almost into the realm of I have to appreciate the balls. Like the utter big clanking balls on this guy. So, video boss Fran Mirabella on IGN wrote, "Tonight, IGN took down more content over concerns of some of the work by Philip may have been copied. After 18 years as an IGN, as a reviewer, as a producer, it's despicable. Authors and supporters affected, I'm sorry. Nobody at IGN stands for this. This is a personal statement of my own."
Yep.
So, it's unbelievable that he got away with this as long as he did.
18
frankly.
years?
Well, I don't know how many times, and over what period, but that's a lot of high-profile reviews.
Yeah, no fucking kidding. Oh, and Janus Marine, how can we make the rest of IGN disappear? Support us. We'll be the next IGN. Take care of that. And,
yes.
We won't copy each other.
By then, we can just release pre-recorded video and not do stuff with stream where we have to, deal with the strobe light camera.
Never ever trust anyone who spells their name Philip with,
right?
With an F.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about Hitman 2.
Okay.
IO Interactive announced that Hitman Season 1 missions are going to be updated and playable within Hitman 2.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is very interesting. So
they really must have built the whole game in the same environment and everything.
All 6 of the locations from the previous Hitman title, which are Paris, Sapienza, Marrakesh, Bangkok, Colorado, and Hokkaido, Japan. All of which will be released for Hitman 2 as part of the Hitman Legacy Pack DLC, updated with many of the new features that the game is introducing for Hitman 2.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is that they haven't announced a price for the DLC, but anyone who owns the first season of Hitman will get it for free.
Nice.
So it's basically for someone like me who bought Hitman 1 and got all the episodes and never fucking turned the thing on.
Yeah.
I can now just go into Hitman 2 and have all that content there to not play in the new game that I won't play.
Pre-enhancing the game that you haven't even bought yet.
That's exactly. I'm pre-enhancing the game that will then go into my backlog to also not be played.
You may never play.
Right. I mean, Jesus Christ. I played all the other Hitman. I don't know if it was just the episodic nature that, or the timed aspect to it, like the elusive targets. I don't know what it was that turned me off, but I never felt the urge to sit down and go through it really.
It kind of falls into that camp that we talked about, where kind of like a World of Warcraft MMO style thing, where it's just anything that's timed, where your game is screaming at you, play me right now.
Yeah. When
you're fucking busy with other games or life or whatever's going on at that time, it's a bit annoying, really.
If you can't have everything, that one thing that you miss will always nag at you.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're like a completionist like me.
That's why, I've already given up on owning a bunch of stuff in stuff like Rocket League and everything like that, because again, you have like these timed season crates and everything, and
seasonal and holiday stuff. And
so it's just like stuff that it just games shouldn't command your attention.
Right.
They should be played as is.
Respect your time, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I've got a backlog. Yes, I bought this game. I can play it in a month or 3 months or something like that. Or if it's like, oh, well, I know this is only going to take like a week. I have time off at Christmas. So I'll fucking play it then. That type of thing. You should be able to schedule your own gaming time.
Yep.
As soon as games start chomping into that and they're like, no, you fucking play right now or you're going to miss out on this big spectacular event or something, it's like, fuck off.
You're gonna miss out on killing Gary Busey.
Yeah, exactly. That's still probably one of the worst parts right now, is that it's like, I didn't play that game and I missed out on killing Gary Busey, but the game shouldn't dictate that to me. He should have just been in the fucking game, and I should be able to play that mission in 10 years if I wanted to.
Yep. I honestly just wish that they also had him in Saints Row, like they had him in the actual commercials for it. Put him in the game, Uncle Gary.
I'm kind of surprised that he wasn't, honestly, with the sense of humor that the game had, and
so ridiculous. All right, so in any case, unlike last season, it's not going to be an episodic thing. It's going to be all at once, and it'll be all unlocked right from the beginning. So that's going to be out November the 13th.
So can I kill Gary Busey if I buy Hitman 2?
I don't know how they're going to work the elusive targets, if it's going to be like another timed thing, like a weekly or a daily or what. But yeah, like it's interesting the way it works, but Jesus Christ, to miss your target and then have it be potentially locked off forever, that's nerve-wracking. But I mean, they did eventually, like 6 months or a year later, reopen them up and did them again, but even still, like... something about that irks me.
Well, because the whole thing is, a prime example was like when I was playing the Arkham series, like Batman. So when I was playing Arkham City, I played the shit out of that for probably almost like 3 months straight. And I was like crazy good at like combos and doing all the DLC and like, you know, getting a bunch of trophies in the game and everything like that. It was like doing all of this stuff. And then, you know, you put the game down and you go on to something else and you go on to something else. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I want to play that again. So you go back in. And it's like you're back in kindergarten again. Like you're just relearning everything and stuff like that. So if you were like really, really gold at Hitman, and then all of a sudden you like, you know, you missed your target or you didn't have time to like finish that one or something like that. And all of a sudden, oh, well, that target's gone now. I guess I'll put this down. 6 months later, you go back and it's like you don't even know how to hold a sniper rifle at that point.
All right. I'm going to skip that piece. God of War today on PS4 has their New Game Plus mode added. And it's not just New Game Plus. There's like a shitload of additional stuff they've added to it.
There wasn't enough content in that game already.
Exactly. So everyone who's got God of War, apparently you can download it. I don't know if it's available right now, but it's supposed to be today. So when you start a New Game Plus, all your armors, talismans, enchantments, runic attacks, skills, and weapons will carry over. You'll also be able to select your desired difficulty no matter what difficulty you went through the first time.
Okay.
I don't know if that trophy for the... above a certain ranking is still... I don't remember. There's one where you had to do a specific fight at a certain difficulty.
So if you...
I think it's the only difficulty-related thing in the game.
So if you played like on easy mode and you got a bunch of your crazy armor and stuff like that, could you just jump in and play fucking nightmare mode or whatever? Like...
I think you could, but I think it would still like fucking rape you because you're just completely unused to the way combat goes, too. I don't know. I mean, it says you can pretty much choose whatever difficulty you wanted, no matter what your previous difficulty was. So if you want to go through the first time and then crank up, you can. But also enemies are going to be leveled up as well. So even your basic things are going to give you a new challenge. So there's going to be new customization options with even more powerful versions of existing armors, talismans, and enchantments. There's also going to be something called Scap Slag.
Would you call me?
You fucking scapslag. Apparently, it's a new resource that's used by the blacksmiths to create perfect rarity level gear. Perfect rarity is a brand new thing, apparently. So beyond legendary. New armor sets for both Kratos and Atreus, some including new gameplay abilities, the ability to convert certain talismans and armor sets into enchantments, so you can create combinations that are not available.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Enemies can also turn elite even on Give Me a Challenge Plus difficulty, which, like, not just give me God of War, but give me a challenge. You might get random elite enemies as well. So some enemies have new behaviors and attack patterns. So if you thought the Valkyries were tough before...
Fuck the Valkyries.
You are screwed, me old boy. Timed realm tears. There's going to be a bunch of like random realm tears that are timed. You got to go out and do them. It's probably like timed daily events.
Gary Busey in one of them?
I do not think so, no. There'll be a brand new shield skin you'll get when starting a new game on New Game Plus, which will be, I guess, unique to the New Game Plus mode. And also, New Game Plus mode is repeatable. So if you finish New Game Plus mode, you can then go into New Game Plus again. So you can just...
It's New Game Plus Plus.
Basically, yeah.
I would hope so, because, you know, you would need to play the game again to upgrade a bunch of your shit again, just to, you know, survive that round.
Yeah, and I'm sure to get the perfect level stuff, you're going to have to gather a lot of fucking stuff, so... you can also skip cinematics now, so after the first time you finish the game, you can skip through. Although, I mean, I wouldn't skip the game. But after the third or fourth time, maybe.
Well, I don't know. Some of them aren't necessary. Other ones are very cool, like a lot of the character-driven ones. But there's some where it's just like, oh, this is affecting what the world is doing right now. And it's like,
and
skip.
Here's a big quality of life one that I really, really appreciate. You can now easily transfer all of your enchantments from one item to another at the push of a button. So you don't have to like unslot them all and then slot them back in.
That's nice. Yeah, that was always a pain in the ass.
Did you always end up like, am I going to sacrifice this thing? Did I remember to take all the shit out of it? Like if I'm swapping between one thing and the other, you gotta take all these out, put them all back in.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass. So yeah, that's a nice little quality of life adjustment. But it's also got a bunch of bug fixes. It also says quality of life improvements, like that one. Stuff as like ensuring that parry attacks always keep Kratos safe at all times. The Wrath of the Frost Ancient runic attack is better. Things like that. Inconsistencies with how enemy attacks can be parried. So a lot of little niggling glitches have been addressed as well.
That's good.
It is a huge update for free.
And guess what's after New Game Plus Plus? That's right, it's New Game Plus Plus Plus.
Yes. Plus grand. All right, we got some quick hits.
Plus cubed.
Exactly. Quick hits. Bethesda has quietly changed its controversial review policy. Apology. Make it an apology for their policy. They're not going to send out. They used to say they're not going to send out review copies at all until like the day of.
Right.
Now they're going to evaluate it on a case-by-case basis. Probably multiplayer games like Fallout,
and probably pressure from certain devs.
Right. So anything with a server, they'll probably still do. But I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. But things like Wolfenstein, you're going to get that in advance. Mm-hmm. So probably Wolfenstein, was it Wild Stallions? No. Whatever the new one is. I think it's Wild Blood.
Isn't it the Old Blood, or is that the other one?
No, that's the new one. It's going to be the Wolfenstein standalone with the daughters.
The Bloody Blood. Twin Blood.
First Blood, Part 2. I don't know. In other Gamescom news, EA announced that Battlefield 5's open beta will start September the 4th for those with early access, either through Origin Access Premier or EA Access, which is the Xbox One version.
Yep, that's the buy our version or shitty version of Steam, so you can get in a week early on this game that you're going to drop in 2 months.
And also September the 6th for pre-bookers. So the beta client will be available for download September the 3rd. The game comes out October the 11th, so you can get sick of it before all the people get in the game. Sony has actually announced that PSVR has sold a grand total, sold through 3 million units. So they are now celebrating a VR software sale through August the 28th. If you have a PSVR, go out, buy a bunch of software while you can.
Are they going to sell a crystal blue version?
Probably not. Probably not. At this point, I'm pretty sure they're gearing up for the PSVR 2 with the new
as we had talked about.
Right. So we talked about a year ago. Crytek is still suing the guys behind Star Citizen, Cloud Imperium Games.
Yep.
So they had a lawsuit that's been in the works. It's been like going through motions forever. They actually had last week a judge ruled on Cloud Imperium Games' motion to dismiss the case. They were trying to get out from under it, and they didn't. So, on the claim of CryEngine exclusivity in pursuit of punitive damages, they dismissed those charges, but they upheld the claim from Crytek on copyright infringement and breach of contract. So still some pretty serious charges. The trial's going to go on. It's going to drag on for fucking ever, and they'll probably settle it out of court.
Just eat all of their money until, one says, okay, enough, here, have money.
I imagine Crytek is not in great shape anymore because they don't own CryEngine anymore.
Yeah.
They don't own Far Cry anymore. And actually, they do own CryEngine. They don't own Far Cry because Ubisoft bought that. I'm not sure. I think the only thing they own is the CryEngine.
Yeah, and good luck to them on that because it's not like, every dev is using it anymore.
No. Stardock. They're still moving ahead with their fucking Star Control lawsuit. Not only the lawsuit, but they're still going ahead like everything's fine. We're putting out a game. Lawsuit who? Brad Wardell at Stardock. Forget about the lawsuit. Look over here. So he's just announced that they've signed up Adam Baldwin to be one of the voices in Star Control Origins.
Adam Baldwin
for the game that may never come out. In a universe that has nothing to do with Star Control. I was watching that thing like trying to make sense of this lawsuit.
Right.
So apparently the way it breaks down is that Stardock is alleging, they lost the copyright, Toys for Bob, they don't own the copyright. Oh, and they tried to smear these guys like, well, we don't know how much they actually had to do with the game, and there's a lot of people involved and all this stuff they tried to put out there. But if you look at the actual complaint, the only thing that on paper Stardog actually owns is the trademark Star Control. So none of the races, none of the plot, none of Star Control 1 and 2 IP do they actually own.
I wonder if they could get away with calling it Star CTRL.
I don't think so, no.
Because that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So
just to like really stick it to them.
Probably what they'll do is Fred Ford and Paul Reich III, they'll probably just relabel it like they did with the Urquan Masters and make it like something else.
Yeah.
That people will know.
Call it fucking Star Horizon or something like that and give it a subtitle.
Right. So they own the rights to the first two. They own the rights to the IP. They can make sequels that just can't call it Star Control, and it can't be confused with trade dress. Mm-hmm. And they probably they're going to be limited in how they reference from the makers of Star Control, right? Because they can't use the trademark. So whatever. I would really like this to be fucking sorted out, because they're actually doing. Aside from Star Control, they're actually making a Starflight 3. It's on Fig right now. You go out and, if you want to support indie games, you go out and do that. I would like to see the same thing for Star Control. Star Control, yeah, that would be a little closer to the truth, Tron.
Call it Star Ton Kroll.
Yeah, Star Ton Kroll. Star Ton Crawl. God damn Brad Wardell. Anyway, Paradox Interactive announces that popular 4X game Stellaris is actually coming to consoles eventually.
Eventually.
We don't know, but eventually.
It's just, is he saying that it's something he'd like to do,
Nope.
or is like, no, this is definitely happening?
They're doing it. It's being done.
But it could be like 2 years off.
I don't know what the time frame is. They didn't put a date on it, but it's going to be handled by Tantalus Media, the guys that did City Skylines for consoles.
Okay. All right.
So it's a good studio doing the port. The game itself, the original game, was very much like a Master of Orion style 4X game. So if you're into that kind of thing, you're going to be able to play that on your consoles if you don't have a PC or prefer to play on.
I think it'll just be interesting to see how they make it work on a PC,
Right.
basically. A 4X game is not typically console-friendly or controller-friendly.
Right, UI is going to be a major concern, but I mean, if you look at how they did, like City Skylines, they pulled it off. For something like this, I imagine it's just going to be like a streamlined interface somehow. I don't think they're going to do like that bullshit original port of Kerbal Space Program where and a mouse is like, oh my.
Those are the worst. That's like the laziest version that you could do of that. Yeah, you got a joystick. Yeah, you can just use a fake mouse. No, that doesn't work that way. You're not allowed to do that.
There was a reason I got a refund on that. So the new version is apparently much better now that Rockstar owns the game. So.
I would think so.
Bastards. Anyway. From Software announced that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice will release March 22nd. So that's going to be early next year.
Definitely looking forward to that.
And another little tidbit from Supermassive Games, the guys who did Until Dawn.
Right.
They've filed a new trademark for a game called Shattered State.
Okay.
You now have all the information.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate.
All the logo it's like an upraised fist and a logo like the text of the word, and it's like fractures radiating outward, so it kind of evokes kind of a like a red faction rebellion kind of urban.
I'm just hoping that they go back
to
maybe some more classic gameplay, because their last two VR ones weren't exactly great apparently. So
the Impatient was good.
I'm just worried that it didn't set anything on fire, so I don't want them to like go under because they just made two bad games. And
I mean, I'm sure that the VR ones were subsidized by Sony, and the PlayLink ones were probably also subsidized by Sony. But I mean, Inpatient was good, and what was that other one? I didn't play it, but it was the VR
Bravo Team.
Yeah, it reminded me of Full Spectrum Warrior, but apparently that was good too, but just short. So. In any case, The Inpatient was supposedly also very good, but you would probably not enjoy it.
No.
But no details on that. It's just been filed very recently. There's no announcement. No one fucking knows anything. All right. So we're moving on to the big ticket.
All right. Do it.
Gamescom.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yep. A lot of information about Gamescom. We're we're actually running a bit later than I expected. We didn't have much news, so I'm surprised we're actually at this point tonight.
So up front, what date is Gamescom happening?
Gamescom officially starts tomorrow, but they've already started doing some of the press conferences. Like today, NVIDIA had their press conference where they announced the brand new RTX 2080, which is a $1,199 US.
But apparently, that video card is balls crazy.
Yes.
Like, it is... You want to talk about, like, next level, next-gen gaming? Right. This is the video card that is going to usher that in.
Yeah, ray tracing natively on the card and shit like this. Like, wow. Okay.
Well, just the new infrastructure in general is just... It's blowing everything out of the water now.
So, basically, I would put that card in the computer and double the cost of my computer.
Yep. But I mean, hey, that's not unheard of too. I mean, you look at the 1080 Ti's last year; they were like $1,000, I think, or something.
No, they weren't. No. When I bought mine, it wasn't nearly that much. It was expensive, more expensive than previous cards that I purchased, but it wasn't like ridiculously expensive. It's pretty expensive. But, like the 1080 Ti's were actually reasonable for what they were compared to some of the other cards, but yeah. Anyway, Microsoft has theirs tomorrow. They're supposed to have a bunch of stuff. They're going to talk about Crackdown 3. They're going to talk about State of Decay, not State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves.
Just hyping up some more Crackdown 3 for...
Oh, well, they got to show something, right?
They really do.
Yeah, and apparently they're going to have some other announcements. Like, traditionally, Gamescom has kind of been Xbox's backdoor into Europe.
The Microsoft show,
right? Because Sony typically skips it because they do PSX in December.
Right.
So Gamescom being a little bit too close to E3, and E3 they didn't really show much anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably not going to see much more from Sony. Bethesda, EA, Sony, and Ubisoft have all confirmed they're going to have no official conferences during Gamescom. So even the normal anemic conferences they used to have, they're not even going to have.
Yeah, there's no point at this time. Like, so yeah, why bother?
Yeah. So surrounding Gamescom, there is another little mini burst of announcements that we're going to get over the next week or so. Already we've had some stuff. There's a new Metro Exodus trailer today, and I don't know what your feelings were about Metro. We've talked about them, but
I haven't seen this trailer yet, but you're kind of making me scared about it.
It's a little tense.
Because everything we've seen so far, it looks like a nice sunny vacation compared to the past few games.
No. I literally, if you look on my notes, it literally says Dan will not like this.
Oh yes, it actually says right there
in big capital letters. It looks pretty fucking tense. So that's going to be out February 22nd for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Hideaki Itsuno actually announced there's going to be a playable demo of Devil May Cry 5 available
nice.
at Gamescom. They said I think he said the 23rd, which I believe is Wednesday.
I'm hoping that they show. Yeah, that'll be.
Wait, today's the 20th?
No, Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
I'm hoping that releases just some more HD like game footage of it. I want to see more of that game.
Well, I'm sure with the playable demos, you're going to see some off-screen cams smuggled out if they don't release like an actual trailer as well. THQ Nordic had a bunch of announcements, actually. They have a brand new Darksiders 3 trailer today. And
does it show gameplay? Because I've been waiting to see something about this game.
I think it does. Because it shows a lot of like Fury flipping around and killing shit.
Yeah, that's what I want to see though. Because last time we got a trailer was like a year ago, I think.
Well, roughly that. But anyway, so in this trailer though, they actually show a scene where she meets up with War and Death.
Yes.
So it's starting to come full
circle
together.
Right?
So they're really leaning heavily on the whole Brotherhood of the Four Horsemen, the whole thing. So I don't know if like when Strife gets in the mix, are they going to then make it a 4-player? Or are they going to wait until like Darksiders 5 and do
I could see them doing
stuff?
like a side like co-op kind of mission type style thing. I don't know if you'd get 4 players in like the core storyline, but either way, I would love to have the 4 horsemen on an online play. Like, oh, that'd be so fucking good.
I don't know if you remember like Legacy of Kain Defiance. I'd like to see them where they have like they split chapters or something.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Or maybe they do like a multiplayer where you switch back and forth to accomplish things that you need to like hit a lever and do stuff.
I could see something like that. Have like a, you hold one of the shoulder buttons, and you warp
Right.
to a different character, and you solve multi-layer puzzles while controlling all of them or something.
Yep, that could be cool. So that is, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's like it's out in November. It's like that's relatively soon. I was about to say it. I was like, oh fuck, it's relatively soon.
It is. It really is.
So Darksiders 3 is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC November the 27th. So a couple months away. I better finish that one right quick before Red Dead comes out.
I mean, the good thing about those games is they really are kind of a standalone situation. Like, it's just, you play through the story and you're like, okay, I can put this down now. Like, there's not a lot of that drawback of just like, oh, I've got to play it again. I got to play it again. There's so much more content in there.
Well,
you'll play it through it once, you'll put it down, and then they'll bring out DLC in a few months, and then you can go back and play it then.
Let's just say that I seem to recall that the grind for Darksiders 2 was a lot worse than the first one. There were some hard things in the first one, but the second one was a straight up grind. Hopefully this one's a little bit less egregious. So THQ Nordic also announced last week they've picked up some additional classic IPs to add to their ever-growing stable.
Okay.
And these are
like for remaster or
remaster and or redevelopment.
Okay.
These are exciting. Or at least one of them's exciting.
Honestly, THQ getting their hands on classic, like whatever they used to do, or just ideas like that, I'm all over it, because THQ has always been one of my favorite devs.
Name a classic shooter game that you'd like to see come back.
A classic shooter game?
Yes. See if you get it in one.
Oh, I don't know. I need a clue. There's literally thousands of different shooters.
Very popular FPS game. It was available on PS2, I think Xbox, and probably on, I think it was on GameCube too, actually.
Okay,
doesn't matter.
You narrowed it down like 10.
I did. Clemens Kundratis, CEO of Koch Media, who actually owns THQ Nordic, they are hugely excited to have acquired Time Splitters.
Oh, yes.
The original games gave fans a massive content offer and provided a pure and genuinely fun arcade shooter experience. We have many fans of the Time Splitters series among our own staff who are passionate about creating a product that will thrill today's gaming audience. So that is a big one. A lot of people really liked Time Splitters back in the day. Fuck your Halos.
It was so
Medal
good.
of Duty. Colin Juarez, I would absolutely love to see come back, but that's Ubisoft. They have to still live down fucking the cartel, because that was terrible.
Yep.
And still continues to be terrible. But yeah, Time Splitters was hugely popular, and as popular as it was, Hayes killed that whole fucking studio.
Yeah.
So I think they have some Free Radical people working with them now, apparently. But also, in addition to Time Splitters, another thing that came with it was another Free Radical IP called Second Sight, which I don't know if you remember that one.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So that, for those who have not actually played Second Sight, it follows an American parapsychologist researcher who undertakes missions alongside a band of U.S. Marines using a mix of gun combat and stealth gameplay. So, Ghosts?
Yeah.
Is it Ghosts?
Yeah, basically.
It's like that Netflix Ghost thing. What was it?
Netflix Ghost.
Yeah, it was there was the movie. It was kind of like sci-fi, like ghosted.
Yeah, it had like a really cheesy trailer to it. Yeah, I don't remember what it was was but yeah, I definitely.
It wasn't terrible.
I didn't watch the movie. I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, I don't know if I should waste my time with this.
I watched it. It had some good moments. Like it was just a patently absurd concept, but it wasn't terrible.
I just want a psyops game, man.
Oh yeah. Well, that whole thing is fucked. So yeah, but was Second Sight a good game?
From what I remember, it was forgettable.
Yeah. Apparently, J.S. Marie would like to see Call of Juarez too.
Here's the thing: it was PS2 game.
Yeah.
It didn't really offer a lot in the way of shooter goodness gameplay kind of situation. It was more or less just about having interesting mechanics of being able to possess different bodies and stuff like that. Okay. So outside of that, I remember almost nothing about it.
Did the box hit a gun and his a head in his hands?
Yeah, that was the one.
I remember that. That's about all I remember about it.
But
So
yeah, Time Splitters, much more exciting.
Oh, everyone knows Time Splitters, right? So that's going to be, apparently it's going to be published by Deep Silver. So I guess that's THQ Nordic's deal. They also announced that, this is a weird one though. THQ Nordic is going to get 5 games from Microsoft Studios portfolio.
Okay.
They're going to make them available via Steam and put out physical editions for the game. But they are Microsoft Studios games that they are licensing out to THQ to put on Steam.
Because they can't be bothered to do it themselves? Or
Well, when you hear the list, that may be the case, but it's weird that Microsoft would ever enter into this agreement. So the list is Super Lucky's Tale, Disneyland Adventures, Rush, a Disney Pixar adventure, Zoo Tycoon, and Recore Definitive Edition.
Okay.
So yeah, like, it's weird that they would enter into an agreement to put out their games on an entirely different service.
Maybe because they're going to get some kind of money from them, whereas they may not have been getting any money from them before.
I mean, it's possible that this publishing agreement is strictly in other markets where maybe Microsoft doesn't have the same presence.
Yeah.
But just the arrangement itself is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to do some more research on that, but it's an unusual kind of situation. So last piece of information, or interesting information, Sony apparently has a secret game.
A secret game.
A secret game. So
Is it
here's
super secret?
It is apparently so secret we don't even know what it is. So here's the thing: the Gamescom 2018 awards, they always put out, like, for the jury for like critics,
Okay.
to get the best in show kind of thing. On the list of awards under best console game for PS4, there are listed 3 nominees:
Mm-hmm.
Marvel Spider-Man,
Yep.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and a third game that is only listed by its working title, Project Mephisto.
Okay.
So with the inclusion of Spider-Man and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, we see these could be third-party titles. They could be first-party titles. Some people are speculating that it's tied to one of the unannounced Diablo projects, since Mephisto was a boss you could beat in Diablo. That's a pretty tenuous link, but possibly. They also say it's possible that it could be a PlayStation 4 port of an indie game that's called Vagante from the developer Nuke 9, which originally apparently had gone by the Project Mephisto working title in 2013.
Oh, okay.
Which is possible. Again, I think it's Siphon Filter.
You just got to throw that right out there.
Well,
was there a Mephisto anywhere in Siphon Filter?
I did it. I actually went looking. Like, when I started whirling in my mind, maybe it's Siphon Filter, maybe it's Siphon Filter. I went searching, and there was. It's kind of weird. There was a guy who did some artwork that was on DeviantArt.
Yeah.
And it says Siphon Filter, and it says Mephisto, and this was like from 3 years ago.
Okay.
And it's under a guy's name, and his name is not Mephisto.
And it looks like concept art or something?
Not really. The only thing that makes me immediately jump on this is that the artwork didn't look like, I wouldn't say not professional, but not like what you would expect to see from concept art level professional. So it's like, okay, that's a weird combination of things to randomly hit upon to then years down the road, I don't know. Mephisto. No, it is not Project Mephisto. Fister Roboto. No, he is not learning. But yeah, it's entirely speculation. I have no reason to actually believe it's Siphon Filtered, aside from I really want to see
that. You just really want a Siphon Filter game.
I would really like to see Siphon Filter. There's no reason not to bring it back. But yeah, we don't know what it is. So even though Sony is not going to have an official press conference, there apparently is a secret game, maybe by a third party that hasn't had their announcement yet, that is coming to PS4 that apparently has been nominated for this best game of the PlayStation 4.
Damn it, I want to know what the fuck it is then.
Well, sometime this week we'll find out, right? But apparently it's really good.
Okay, well, I hope so.
Yep. And that is it for the news.
Oh, you forgot the most important part.
Oh, what's the most important part?
That Gamescom is going to have a giant game slice of Cyberpunk 2077.
I will believe that when I see it, because I have been like Lucy in the football with that one too many times.
They officially said that they were going to show a bunch of the game off at Gamescom.
See. I think they're just going to do like a behind the bullet thing, and they're just going to change the trailer so it's like a different time of day, or change people's clothes so you can see that it's like this is being done in real time and not just. I don't think you're actually going to see gameplay. I really doubt that.
Yeah, and you're not getting siphon filter, so deal with it.
Why do you gotta piss on my parade?
Because you pissed on mine.
Well, I want to mitigate your expectations.
Pissing challenge.
All right. You know what time it is, though?
Yeah, let's do it.
It is time to press select on the options menu. And for those of you new to the stream, this is a series of rotating topics we talk about. Today will be hidden gems. Games that we like from the past that maybe aren't as well known, or just we want to draw attention to. And as traditional, I'm going to let Dandr0id go first so that I can go actually pick a hidden gem.
You didn't pick yours. It's just you go into the wall.
I'll just go to the library here in the studio and see what is a hidden gem.
But Jack, what if there's no hidden gems over there?
Have you seen my backlog? Big Jack's McBacklog? Good Lord, there are many hidden gems. Things that people don't know about. All right, I'll be over here. I'm listening.
Okay, run along. This one's not so much from the past as it is. It's more of like an indie gem. You can get it on multiple different consoles, platforms, whatever. You can even play it on Android and iOS, I believe. But it's a fun little time killer. If you love 2D platformers with very, very simplistic mechanics, but are super, super addictive, play Downwell.
Downwell.
And I don't know, Jack, if you've ever played Downwell before.
I don't have the reflexes
for
it, but
yeah, so I don't know if you heard Jack there, but he says he doesn't have the reflexes for it. And that's kind of what the deal is that Downwell is a super, super simplistic 8-bit shooter. It's like almost monochrome. There's literally... They have black, white, and red, and then they have different color schemes. You can change it later on. But really, really simplistic in how it looks. But it's very, very addictive, replayable combat. So basically, you have a little tiny 8-bit character. You literally jump down a well, and you have gun boots on. So the way you jump is you shoot bullets out of your boots, and then that helps you to kind of spring along, and you have a set amount of ammo that you can fire before you're out, and then you start falling again. And of course, there's just a wild assortment of enemies with all kinds of different abilities and powers. They, of course, get way more difficult as you go along, but you're just constantly going down this well until you reach the end of it, and then you go down to the next kind of themed version of that. And along the way, you can run into different like little hidden caves that'll either upgrade your weapons or your life or something like that. You'll get some kind of random ability or some gems. And then the gems can be traded in at the random stores that you run into throughout the well also. It's also randomly generated, so you're not guaranteed to always get, a certain weapon or a certain, like a certain build or anything like that. So it's really, it's a super, super addictive game. Oh, and thank you very much for that raid. Welcome to the chat, everyone. It's Snowbeard.
Oh, hey,
and Jack is off grabbing a game right now. So, but anyways, yeah. So with Downwell, the whole part of it is that it's a roguelike. So every time you die, I think you start with 3 lives. Every time you end those 3 lives, that's it. You got to restart. Your health resets, your weapons reset, everything. You're back at the top of the well. But very, very addictive gameplay because you always want to get that one more level down. You always want to kill one more enemy. It just constantly drives you to that insanity of like you just want that one more game, and that's something that's so hard to capture in a lot of modern gaming. Just to get those games that actually make you want to constantly play them, even if you can just sneak in and play a game or two. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. It's super cheap. I think it's like $2 or $3 now. You can play it on multiple different consoles and platforms. And yeah, even on your phone, it works well because it's such simplistic controls too, because you can only go basically left, right, or fire, and that's about it. So, but yeah, tons of fun. I think you've played it a little bit, and you were like, yep. It's a little too fast-paced for you, I guess. Or
it's not really up my alley, but I could see the appeal of it for someone who likes that kind of Twitch platforming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a ton of fun.
Not
I
this kind
absolutely,
of Twitch platform.
absolutely love that one.
But, yeah. But, and by the way, welcome to everyone from No Beard's show. We are, of course, Jack McBastard and Dandr0id
Hey.
from Digital Fiasco.
Okay, so you're at the wall there for my whole explanation.
Yes.
So I hope you found something.
Yes, I have Call of Juarez, the cartel. No.
I was going to say, what's wrong with you?
No one would recommend that even as a joke. Okay, so this is one...
That game is cancer.
Right. This is one that is debatable that it is a hidden gem.
Okay.
But it is one that I think a lot of people kind of overlooked as a bad cash-in from a known property.
Okay.
Which, you see a movie tie-in, you kind of wonder, how good can that game be? Because I've played, like, the Iron Man game for PS3, and...
We have to play that. You play that at some point. Although apparently Iron Man 2 is voted as one of the worst games of all time.
Yeah, the first one is bad. The second one is worse.
Yeah.
So I could not believe that's actually the case. But anyway, so movie tie-ins. I think there's only a couple exceptions. There was the Wolverine one,
yeah,
which is way better than the movie.
Which got its kind of pedigree
Right.
from the God of War games that
Very
were
much.
kind of around the same time and everything.
There was Wolverine. I think.
Worse than Rambo games? They're different games altogether,
Yes.
but apparently,
yes, it was.
You go on like not even Metacritic, but you just go into subreddits. You go on to top 10 lists everywhere. Iron Man 2 will be on there because it is widely known as one of the worst games. Like, we're talking like ET territory.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it was the game back in the day, like early in the PS3, Xbox 360 life cycle, that taught me what it means when a game has an embargo right up to release date.
Yep.
You do not buy a game if there is silence from critics until release date. You just wait. You have to hold on.
Yep.
Yeah, so I bought that game. It was awful. So anyway, Wolverine, X-Men Origins, great game, shockingly good, way better than the movie.
Well, apparently we're no longer a slideshow, so
yes,
that's
I
good
actually
too.
look. Our frame rate, our bit rate is actually over 5,500 at this point.
Perfect.
So I don't think they've fixed anything.
Just in time to show your game off.
Yes. Ghostbusters.
Oh, yes.
Ghostbusters, the video game. This is a game.
The most generic title of all time.
I know. But the great thing about this is, first and foremost, I've played a lot of Ghostbusters games over the years, going all the way back to like
the NES?
The Commodore 64 version, which was the NES version.
Just the lesser version of the lesser game.
Basically, it was like they ported it to the NES. But anyway, and it was the same thing. They had it for the Sega Master System. Same basic game.
Yeah.
This game, though, like in the mid-90s, early 2000s, I think, for the PS3. It would have to be early 2000s for the PS3.
I was going to say mid-90s. There was no PS3.
No, there was no PS3.
You had a PS2 in 2000s.
Don't talk about my time travel. Anyway, so this game came out, and a lot of people thought, this is Ghostbusters. It's been 20 goddamn years. Who cares?
Yeah.
But this game was one of those ones, if you remember, they actually made a demo on spec of like the proton blaster mechanic. And they had the library scene where they stacked the books, and they did all that on spec, and then Atari came out and said, holy shit, we're gonna make a game about this. They actually went in, they got Harold Ramis and what's his face, Dan Aykroyd, to actually write the script. They got all four of the original voices, minus Sigourney Weaver.
Of course.
They got Dan Aykroyd, they got Harold Ramis, they got the other two guys. Bill Murray. And, God damn it, Winston Zedmore.
Winston.
The guy was in The Crow. I can't think of the guy's name.
I don't remember.
He was the cop in The Crow.
That's really going to fix everything?
David Lynch. Anyway, so
James Cameron.
Yeah, exactly. I'm blanking on his name. In any case, I'm sure Jason.
I'm too tired to remember names right now.
It is not Jason Statham.
I would love to see Jason
Statham
Statham in the Ghostbusters.
That would be actually. I would like to see that. He like go out and beat the shit.
Yeah,
out of
I was
the
gonna
ghosts.
say he wouldn't even use the proton pack.
Yeah.
He just like hit people with it.
It is not Peter Jackson. No.
Don't worry about it. We got 3 minutes
I know, it's
left.
bothering me. Anyway, long story short. So the game itself, it really feels like a legitimate sequel to Ghostbusters. It feels like the
more
end of a
than
trilogy.
2?
Oh, 2 was not great. 2 was not a great movie.
It's well known as it's not great.
No, but this game in particular, it feels like a natural progression of the story. The environments you're in are highly detailed. And what they really got with the blasters, the proton blasters and the packs and the action of trapping ghosts and wrestling them, it feels like it feels like you were actually doing this action. Like the feedback you get from the joystick, the motions you're going through, it translates from what you would think it would feel like into the mechanics of the game.
Right.
And it actually had one of the few multiplayer segments that I actually enjoyed in the game. Like typically multiplayer is an add-on that no one fucking enjoys.
Yeah.
In most of these games,
they slap it on
afterthought.
because just to say that it has
Right.
multiplayer. It's a selling feature.
Right. Whereas this had like a 4-player co-op, like a horde mode basically with ghosts, and you'd be like all trapping, and when people would be slimed, they go down. You have to run over and get them, and you trap ghosts, and you're constantly being attacked by things.
Yeah.
It was also, it was just an awesome game. But anyway. The main storyline goes through the whole game, and you have an upgrade tree for all your characters, and you get different abilities and stuff as you go. You get various points you can spend on your stuff. The better you go in the game, you trap certain hidden ghosts that give you extra like trophies and shit. The game itself, the plot line, the dialogue, it feels like a proper sequel to Ghostbusters, and you can honestly hear, like, this was the game that actually made Bill Murray say, okay, maybe we will do another Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah.
Because he really enjoyed working with everyone, and the dialogue and the humor after years of saying, nope, it'll never fucking happen.
Yeah, which is, I don't know why he needed that kick in the ass to understand that, because they had such great chemistry in they were generally entertaining. So
I think Ghostbusters 2 took a lot of wind out of their sails.
It must have been that.
So yeah, and it was just, if not for the fact that Harold Ramis died, they might have actually made a third Ghostbusters after them enjoying this so much. So it's really unfortunate, but this game itself, it plays well. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people overlooked it because it is strictly a Ghostbusters game, but you do actually get to
see, that's kind of one of the funny parts. I thought this was a downloadable game only, but this actually had a physical copy.
There is a downloadable one called Sanctum of Slime.
Oh, okay.
Do not mistake the two.
It's just, remember the generic title, but Ghostbusters, the video game.
Good game. Sanctum of Slime, awful game.
And that was also on PS3, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Ghostbusters game that came out from the brand new movie, also generic and terrible.
Yeah, as expected.
So, this one has the original cast. It has, I think, instead of Sigourney Weaver, it actually has Alyssa Milano.
Oh, Tron, that's rough.
What's that? Harold gets to be on the other team in the sequel. Harold Ramis, that's not good. It's too soon. Too goddamn soon. There were a lot of little. Actually, I remember there's a cartoon where it had like the three of them there and Harold Ramis in the trap, and it's like, oh, that's so sad.
Yep.
So goddamn sad. All right, but anyway, you can only get it on I think Xbox 360 and PS3. I don't know if it's out for computer, but if it is, definitely pick it up there. Because it's an excellent game. A lot of fun. Ghostbusters.
It's important to have good multiplayer.
Yeah. Oh, great multiplayer.
Well, because you had couch co-op with that, so. Isn't it?
I don't know if you did.
I thought that was kind of like that multiplayer on the same screen,
No.
doing the horde mode or whatever.
No, I don't think it did. I think you had to have online co-op, but it was still good co-op.
Still worth playing anyways.
Yeah, a lot of coordination, a lot of team effort. It was very good. I enjoyed it. All right. So that's our show for this week, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. All those people who came in, No Beard with the raid, and all those folks. I know that, and That's Originals came in right at the beginning, hosted us, said hi. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you bearing with the Shaw-induced slideshow.
Hopefully it'll be fixed by next week, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think they've fixed anything on their end yet. I just think that there's probably less traffic now, so it just kind of...
That's probably just balanced out.
Yeah, because there's still... it doesn't matter, I don't want to go there, but yeah, hopefully by next week. But we'll find out tomorrow in prime time how fucked Kelly and Albel are. But we appreciate you sticking with us and joining us in the chat. If you'd like to ask us any questions, please give us some feedback. Tell us what you think. Reach out to us on Twitter at @digital_fiasco and let us know if you have any questions. You want to see stuff? You want to talk about games? You want to bitch about Peter Jackson, David Lynch?
You want to tell Jack how much you love Mario Party and why it's awesome?
You want to tell me who the fuck Winston Zedmore was, the actual character's name? Is it Eddie something?
Eddie Guerrero.
No, that is absolutely not it. It's driving me insane.
Oh, at the buzzer here.
Let's look it up, please, so that I could, like, not...
Yes, you can put it to fucking rest. All right. Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. I was close. Ernie Hudson.
There you go. See,
All right.
Janus Breen fixed it at the end there anyways.
Yeah. Of course, it's going to be, of course, you forget the black guy. And then it's going to be one of those SJW things again. I'm going to get crucified online. Ernie Hudson. Thank you, Janus Breen.
Yep, video went shit. Yeah, that's what we're going to get out of here.
We commented on it. We said it was fixed, and we, oh, shit. Shaw says we noticed. So, yeah. In any case, we're going to get out of here. We're going to be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Time with Kelly and Albel talking about Comic Sans. They're going to talk about all things comics and Marvel and nerd related. Notified Albel already. Thanks, J.S. Marine. He still doesn't get an extra pun pass. No, I'm afraid not. In any case, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time, Comic Sans will be back. The rest of the week is largely going to be determined by when and if they actually get their shit together at Shaw. Call of Juarez will be postponed until...
everything fixes itself.
hopefully until after I'm dead. Because I'm hoping that I die just before I have to...
Call of Juarez is canceled.
No. I'm gonna finish it. It's gonna be like Rambo. It's gonna go on the wall of shame and be done.
You know what we should do? Just to remind us of its ever looming presence.
Oh, God.
We should just like hang it from the roof.
The sword of Damocles.
Just like hanging, floating in front of the screen, like the eerie ghost game that it is, because it's still there.
Yeah. Fuck your goddamn Call of Juarez cartel. Ubisoft, why did you screw me? In any case, till then, we're going to get out of here. I'm Jack McBastard.
And I'm Dandr0id.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. We appreciate you. We love all of you in the chat and in our slideshow.
Bye.